Breaking right now. It had to happen. Meghan Markle is being sued after those disastrous bath salts that she put together in With Love Meghan, her Netflix disaster, but they actually turned out to be so toxic, a bit like her personality, that they're actually injuring folk. Now, pretty bad injuries. I'm going to get into this article from Radar Online and reveal their incredible reporting in just one moment. But first, let me bring in royal YouTube sensation according to Taz. Tash, this is no surprise, is it? Because the problem is this is a woman who has done no research, has no scientific backing, and was putting out the most ludicrous ideas. And actually, some of them come with real risks attached.
She basically created a toxic bath bomb, and because there should have been a warning, and I know that there has been, I think one of their representatives has said that the lady in this particular article should know better to not use Epsom salts because she's diabetic. Now, there is a bit of a warning with that, but I think it's got a lot more to do with the fact that Meghan, I don't believe that she knew what she was doing because of the oils. And don't ask me why I know this, but with oils that you put into, you know, candles or burners and things, they're fine for that. But to use them like what she was doing, you need to use a carrier oil, which basically it's like plant-based and it makes it safer for human skin contact. And she whacked in so much arnica oil, and I think it was lavender oil, and that was pure. And it's, it's obvious that she doesn't make that regularly. She's never made anything to put on her skin because you would know that. I mean, that is just basic. And with the Epsom salts, yes, of course. I mean, it was, as I said, it was a toxic bath bomb. And I can't imagine that this is going to be the first case of people doing it because people do sometimes just blindly copy. They should have put a warning up. Maybe they didn't realize at the time, but once that became apparent and people spoke out, Netflix should have covered their bottoms and said, actually, please don't do this at home.
Totally. Well, let me take you through the reporting from Radar Online, which is headlined Exclusive. Meghan Markle fan. That's what's interesting. This was a supporter of Meghan Markle. Threatens to launch $10 million lawsuit after suffering catastrophic burns by copying the Duchess's homemade bath salt recipe from the new Netflix show. And this furious fan from Maryland used the homemade bath salt recipe. RadarOnline.com reveals Robin Patrick is seeking major compensation after the bath salts caused significant pain and cosmetic distress. Diabetic Patrick said Markle had a duty of care to provide adequate warning to viewers. The salts could have an adverse effect on people who carry the condition due in part to the essential oils used within the concoction. She watched the clip of Markle making the bath salt gift from her With Love Meghan series on X and copied the instructions using ingredients available at his home. Since the episode aired, skincare experts warned the DIY blend may pose risks. Patrick later tested out the bath salts herself, dissolving the mixture into warm water in her walk-in bathtub, but she soon began to feel immediate discomfort and knew something was wrong.
Meghan Markle is being sued for $10 million after her With Love bath bomb recipe left a fan with catastrophic burns and emotional distress. And here's the kicker. The fan was actually a Meghan supporter who believed in her brand. Talk about a PR nightmare. According to Dan Wootton, the lawsuit claims Meghan failed to provide warnings about the dangers of the toxic oils used in her DIY bath salt recipe, leaving her fan in excruciating pain. Can you say irresponsible? This is the headline that's going to haunt Meghan for a long time, and it's not just about the money. It's about her brand, her credibility, and her entire image as a wellness guru.
Speaking exclusively to RadarOnline.com, Patrick said, "Initially, I experienced a mild tingling sensation without discomfort. However, as the water level rose to cover my legs and reach my buttocks, I began feeling burning and significant discomfort in those areas. I immediately exited the tub, stopped the water, and later stirred the bath water with my right hand and arm to assess the mixture. This resulted, what a disaster, in additional burning sensations on my hand and arm. After draining the tub, I applied gold Bond lotion, which provided no relief, followed by lidocaine sprays, which temporarily alleviated the pain. That evening, while showering, I experienced intense burning as water contacted the affected areas, which had developed into ulcers. Now, I have to be honest, Tash, I always said that this show was very painful to me, but nothing compared to this poor woman, because Patrick went on to claim the alleged injuries are still giving her major discomfort. She added, to date, the burns are... That's true. I've got psychological trauma. She added, to date, the burns are still not healed and are quite uncomfortable. The others are just sore as heck to touch. Since the incident, I have endured persistent burning discomfort and the emergence of new blister-like sores and ulcers daily. These symptoms have disrupted my daily and nightly routines, preventing me from taking warm showers or wearing clothes over the affected areas. As an individual with an autoimmune condition and compromised immune system compounded by diabetes-related dry skin on my legs and feet, I am deeply concerned about the risk of infection, sepsis, or other complications. The pain feels as though it is burning from within. Patrick said she is willing to resolve the matter without litigation if a financial settlement can be reached. But if her demands are not met, she intends to launch the lawsuit seeking settlement damages of a minimum of $75,000 to cover medical expenses related to treatment of the alleged injuries, compensation for the pain and suffering experienced, plus pay for future costs stemming from the long-term effects of the injury, including infection or scarring. What's more, she's also seeking $10 million from Markle, Netflix, and Archwell Productions, who make the show, for their reckless disregard for public safety and to deter similar conduct in the future. A threatening letter to the parties added, these damages account for emotional distress, potential post-traumatic stress disorder, loss of confidence in appearance, disfigurement, shortened life expectancy, and long-term medical care for injuries that may worsen over time. Now, Meghan's responded to this via her lawyer, Cameron Stracker, who had a stinging rebuke, claiming in a legal letter she should have been aware of the risks of taking the salts, which contain ingredients unsuitable for people suffering from diabetes. He wrote, the use of Epsom salts is contraindicated for individuals with diabetes except on the advice of a physician. As your letter recognises, a duty of care requires a foreseeable injury. It was not foreseeable that you would disregard the instructions on the Epsom salt packaging in attempting to make and use your own bath salts. For this separate reason, there can be no negligence claim against anyone involved in the production or distribution of the series. So I thought this was typical Meghan Markle in so many ways, Tash, because rather than try and sort this out in some type of humane way, given this is a woman, Meghan Markle, who claims to be a humanitarian, right? Who claims to care about her fans, she's just immediately fired back at Rob and Patrick. No phone call, no attempt to solve this, no worry about the fact that watching her show has actually inflicted these shocking physical injuries. And I feel like we're all due an apology for Meghan Markle, any of us who had to sit through With Love Meghan, because it is bad for the health. And I guess this is just proof of it.
How do you come back from this? Or is this the final nail in the coffin of Meghan's so-called lifestyle brand? Tash from According to Taz absolutely nails it. Meghan's bath bomb recipe was a disaster waiting to happen. According to Tash, Meghan overloaded the recipe with lavender oil, arnica oil, and Epsom salts, none of which were properly diluted. And here's the thing. Anyone with basic skincare knowledge knows that essential oils need to be mixed with a carrier oil to avoid burning the skin. But did Meghan bother to do her research? Nope. Instead, she played wellness expert without any qualifications, and now she's got a $10 million lawsuit to show for it.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you there. I mean, I'm not looking forward to the next 8 episodes because I believe the first 8 episodes were the best of a bad bunch. But yes, I mean, her injuries are going to take a long time to heal, especially the fact that she does have diabetes, and it often takes a long time, especially on feet and legs, for those wounds to heal up. But rather than attacking her and saying she should know better because of Epsom salts, I don't believe it was just Epsom salts. If you watch that video, she put in a lot of pure oils, and pure oils like that are not safe to use on the skin. They can cause blistering and burning. And I'm just very surprised that we've not had more people come forward that have said that they have had similar incidents. They would be better off, rather than coming back with an aggressive clapback like that, actually saying now on the Netflix video, putting a warning up for people and to say, do you know what, actually, please don't try this at home. But then that would show that Meghan Markle did something wrong, and we can't ever have that, Dan. She didn't burn the milk on the stove. She didn't do something wrong. Of course not. Meghan never does a thing wrong, including making toxic bath bombs.
Toxic bath bombs, goodness me. Then this week, Tash, there have also been claims from Annabelle Fenwick Elliott, the highly regarded columnist for publications like the Daily Telegraph, who's become a bit of a TikTok sensation in recent months for her hilarious viral videos taking the piss at Meghan's latest projects. We've played a couple of them here on Outspoken. And she thinks that it's Meghan Markle herself who is targeting her to try and remove her from TikTok, saying, did Meghan Markle just message me? So before I get your reaction to this, Tash, let's have a look at what Annabelle Fenwick told her followers.
It's starting to look like you're racist. This again. I don't dislike Meghan Markle because she is mixed race. It's a coincidence. I also don't like, to about the same extent, Blake Lively, and more recently, Katy Perry, only since she went into space twirling a daisy around in a dick-shaped rocket. But I put them all in the same category, and there's only one mixed race person in that trio. The rest of it's kind of just boring and repetitive, so I'm going to spare you. The reason I think this might be Meghan Markle herself is because I can't get into the brain of some normal person who has nothing to do with Meghan Markle, doesn't know her, who would spend all of this time typing out this essay to another person that she doesn't know, defending the other person that she doesn't know, who's a public figure. We're all allowed to talk about public figures, especially when they make themselves very public on purpose. I don't think I can get banned from TikTok for that. Maybe I'm wrong, we'll see. Anyway, have a great evening, everyone. Bye.
So, Tash, I mean, we know that her gay makeup artist best friend who features in With Love Meghan, Daniel, is all over people like you because he actually wrote some terrible things about you. Do you think Annabelle Fenwick could be correct? Annabelle Fenwick Elliott could be correct that this is actually Meghan Markle herself trying to get her removed from social media?
I'm not sure it'd actually be Meghan, because she likes to keep her hands clean, but she's got minions, like Daniel Martin is a minion. And it's clearly obvious that she sends them out like little flying monkeys. And I believe that she's got people in the Sussex squad that also, they target people directly. Now, that email, message, whatever, direct message, yes, I mean, these people that defend Meghan are that obsessive, including her friends. I think that she potentially tried to get someone to go after her to loosely threaten her? Yes, absolutely. It was clearly obvious from Daniel's post recently that he is aware of me, my evil, dark soul that I have. So I think Meghan is upset with the number of people that do talk about her. But of course, Anna is completely correct here, where she says that they're public figures. We are allowed to talk about public figures, especially when they shove their faces into the public every single day.
Tash is right. This isn't just negligence. This is reckless endangerment. And the worst part? Meghan's fan was a diabetic, and the bath bomb exacerbated her condition, causing catastrophic burns. Meghan didn't just miss the mark. She put people's lives in danger. Period. Let's talk about the victim, Robin Patrick, a diabetic woman from Maryland who was actually a Meghan Markle supporter. She followed the Duchess's Netflix recipe to a T, believing that Meghan's so-called wellness expertise would make her feel pampered. Instead, she ended up with severe burns and emotional trauma. And now she's seeking $10 million in damages for emotional distress, pain, and suffering. Imagine that. You trust your idol, follow her advice, and end up in the hospital. That's not just negligence. That's a betrayal of trust. This is where it gets even more dangerous for Meghan. And for Netflix, Radar Online reports that Meghan's recipe failed to include a proper warning for people with pre-existing conditions like diabetes. Now Netflix could be on the hook too. And if this case goes to court, expect Meghan's entire brand to be dragged through the mud, from her wellness expert persona to her so-called caring mother image. It's a brand implosion waiting to happen.
Yeah, it's a very good point, actually. But trust me, Tash, there's no way Daniel, terrified Daniel, who's like, Meghan, your cooking's amazing. Oh my goodness, you're a goddess. Just keep paying me the money and I'm going to keep telling you that you're the most wonderful woman in the world. There's no way Daniel is posting about you and your videos and your YouTube channel on Instagram if Meghan doesn't know about it. You see, so that's where I have my suspicions.
We're being watched.
Yes, we're being watched. We are indeed. Now, Prince Harry's interview this week was astonishing for a whole load of reasons, Tash. I mean, firstly, he claimed that there was some type of establishment stitch-up. Now, given this is a member of the royal family who has had every privilege and who has had the establishment behind him for his entire life, and of course, the BBC, the British Bashing Corporation, as I call it, was so revoltingly one-sided in its coverage, they had to apologise. And there was no difficult follow-up. I mean, this is maybe the closest they went, Tash, when the BBC asked Prince Harry if he will see his father again or allow his children to. I mean, the guy is so stupid and intellectually dishonest, by the way, because, of course, King Charles stepping aside would be interfering. That is the point. But, Tash, just before I get your reaction, I have loved some of the people who are taking on Harry's performance, shall we say, with their own interpretations. This was particularly good from Kevin O'Sullivan of Talk TV fame. He's probably worried that the jam's poisoned, Tash. But I mean, when you actually listen to the BBC's questions out of context there, given we've got Kevin O'Sullivan's great performance as Prince Harry, oh my goodness, Tash, no wonder they had to apologise. There was no genuine follow-up. There was no challenging of what were absolute fanciful claims backed up by zero evidence. So a week on from this interview, do you think we can now say that Harry's credibility is forever smashed with the public, who increasingly, Tash, are demanding that King Charles strips them, both Harry and Meghan, of their HRH titles?
Tash raises a crucial point. Can Meghan even recover from this? If Robin Patrick wins this lawsuit, Meghan could be hit with a $10 million payout, but the real damage is to her image as a wellness advocate. How can Meghan preach self-care and wellness when her bath salts are literally burning people? And what about Netflix? They bankrolled this with Love project, and now they're facing a potential PR disaster. Is this the end of Meghan's Hollywood dream? Tash says it best. Meghan's brand is now toxic, literally and figuratively. And if she thought the British press was brutal, wait until American media gets wind of this lawsuit. Hollywood might be done with Meghan Markle for good.
I can understand why the public is angry. I mean, in one way, the BBC just showed themselves up. Obviously, like you said, I mean, the lack of actual questions that were fired back to him. I think I heard, the other one I heard was when he said there's people in the family that want history to repeat itself, and they're like, oh, that's a bold statement. Oh, you think? But then they didn't double down on it again. They didn't ask any more questions. And this is why mainstream media is completely dying. We don't trust programs like that anymore. We don't really trust the newspapers that much anymore. But with Harry, he doesn't deserve the titles because he doesn't work for the royal family. He's a prince, and let him keep his princely title. But there are some people that want him stripped of that. I believe that the dukedom was only given to them because they were to be working royals, because that's what they told the royal family that they wanted. And we obviously since found out that they were plotting and planning Megxit, possibly, I would say, even before the wedding. So they tricked them into getting what in a way, I would say are job titles. If Harry and Meghan had been honest and said, we want to get married, but we want to go to America and explore our own business ventures, which they should have done, and they might have had a bit more respect, and they might have actually still been slightly successful. I mean, their ventures are still boring and terrible, and she still can't act, but at least they would have had that air of like honesty about them. But that's not what they did. They said they wanted to be working roles. They wanted to represent the UK, the Queen, the Commonwealth. And it was all a lie. They just wanted the titles to monetize them. And now that that is clearly obvious and they keep pushing the boundaries every single week, they should be stripped. Now, it's not a decision the King can easily do. He has to instruct Parliament to do it. But the fact that Harry is also blaming the government, the previous government, as well as part of his delusions and his temper tantrum of how everything's not fair, someone's always at fault. I think there is more than enough grounds to actually say to Parliament, he's becoming a bit of a problem.
So what happens next? If Meghan loses this case, she could be financially wiped out and her wellness brand would be dead in the water. But even if she settles, the damage to her reputation is irreparable. Who's going to trust Meghan Markle's advice after this? Who's going to buy her products, watch her shows, or believe a word she says? This lawsuit could be the beginning of the end of Meghan Markle's Hollywood career. And she only has herself to blame. Alright, that's today's explosive breakdown of Meghan Markle's $10 million lawsuit disaster. If you think Meghan's wellness brand is finished after this scandal, hit that like button, subscribe for more no BS royal drama, and drop a comment below. Can Meghan survive this PR nightmare, or is this the end of her Hollywood dream? Let me know what you think.